England's Test squad versus New Zealand is out, and there are some massive calls we need to first discuss. But anyway, welcome back to the Casual Observer. I'm your host, Daniel. This is our first cricket podcast. I'm excited. We did get the release of the England Test squad, and there is plenty of change. Everyone's mad in New England. What's new? Weather's shit. No, I'm kidding. It's good. Look, Test squad. Emilio Gay, Ben Duckett, Jacob Bethel, Joe Root, Harry Brook, Jamie Smith, Ben Stokes, James Rue, Rehan Ahmed, Gus Atkinson, Matt Fisher, Sonny Baker, Josh Tongue, Shoaib Bashir, and Ollie Robinson. Look, we'll break that down a bit clearer. We'll say those names many, many times. But, let's break down what we've seen there first. Some new faces in the batting lineup, or at least the batting stocks to back up the current lineup. So Emilio Gay and James Rue are the major inclusions in that department. We've seen Ollie Pope and Zach Crawley drop out from their spots. So that long run of opening partnership of Crawley and Duckett is done. And the number 3 for a long time, Ollie Pope, is also at least on the outer for now. So we'll break down the Test squad first, then break down the names that have dropped out. But look, that's amazing. Emilio Gay's had a hell of a start to the county season. He's only 26 years old, already racked up 73 first-class matches, and is a fairly attacking left-arm opener. So he is exactly, I think, look, that's the style of play that England want. He's fairly tall as well, so he fills that Zach Crawley role. And now, just if he is going to open against Ben Duckett, and from Rob Key's interview, it sounds like Emilio Gay's, God forbid there's an injury, but he's locked in to open. So they still got that attacking kind of combo, tall, short, but it's not left-right, so that's the only difference. Emilio Gay, did start the season rollicking form. There was the 200s and a 50 in the last 5 games alone. They are playing Division 2 for Durham, but hey, look, you still got to make the runs. So he's got the history, the track record of the last few years, and been waiting in the wings. Had the opportunity to play for Italy, and I think he got injured. So that's probably, the lifeline that he needed, honestly. But he's got a career average of 39.8, so basically 40, and 1300s. He's been batting 3 for Durham. But look, the transition in this England side from 3 to open is it's half the time it's been basically the same thing. So I think he's going to do a hell of a job up there. We know what little Ducky's like. I love him. He's such a little nuggety player. I'm an Aussie through and through, but look, it was a big relief to see him get demolished in the Ashes. So that was one big stress we didn't have, but I really wanted to get going here against New Zealand. Jacob Bethel going to come back from IPL duty. Hasn't done a lot over there to light the world on fire, but look, at his last innings at the SCG against the Aussies was just an amazing test inning. So he should walk straight back into that number 3. Then you've got Joe Root, the big man, potentially the GOAT. Harry Brook, who just rolled the arm over recently and took a couple of poles, including Jamie Smith. If I was Jamie Smith, I would not sit next to him in the change room anytime soon. Then you've got Jamie Smith. Then you've got Ben Stokes. He opened the bowling and batted 7 for Durham in their most recent match, and I thought that was telling. The England squad doesn't quite have the opening bowlers that they used to. There's no Broad, there's no Wokes, there's no Jimmy Anderson, there's no Jofra Archer, there's no Bryden Cass. And so, look, I think we all called for it during the Ashes, and again, glad England didn't want to do it. But Ben Stokes should probably open the bowling, and I think he should bat 7. His batting's definitely on the downturn now. He knows how to bat with the tail. I think if that's the lineup you're going to go with, I think if you can get Ben Stokes at 7, Jamie Smith at 6, even though Jamie Smith was batting 3 for Surrey, that's how I would do it, through and through. James Rue, he's also stepped into the fold. He's only 22, and he's already racked up 12 first-class hundreds. I remember watching him in the Under-19 World Cup, and he honestly reminded me of David Miller. He had that kind of power, that poise, but he also likes to bat time a bit like Joe Root. So he's one that I'm glad they've just put him in the squad. I don't think he's going to play this series unless there's an injury. He recently opened for Somerset, and he's always batted 4 or 5, and so to open, and he got scores of 4 and 0. So probably not his thing. He's probably not going to get the tick to open, at least to start the series. So he'll be the reserve batter. But he's played 63 first-class games at an average of 42. So he's an absolute prospect, and you have to get him in and around the squad ASAP, and they've done that, which is awesome. Rian Ahmed, currently playing a relief for the Delhi Capitals in the IPL. Not that he's played much. He's only 21 still. He's played a few tests, but again, didn't set the world on fire. Look, he's played 38 first class matches, 33 average, 600s. He's taken 84 poles. I think the average with the ball's around 29-30. He's super handy and he's super young. So again, I love the fact he's in and around the squad. Again, when you've got Shoaib Bashir as your other spinner that you're competing against, if you're going to play a spinner at all, you do have Bethel and Root. I think it depends how much batting depth you want. And I love the guy. I think he's a much better option than Shoaib Bashir. Just got to get him to keep working on those leggies, because his control right now is the thing that's letting him down. You can basically go to a club game and see, Rian Ahmed would bowl 4 beautiful balls and 2 4 balls every over. So, he just needs to get that control if he's going to be playing top level consistently. Gus Atkinson back in after his injury. He did get concussed by Josh Tongue in the recent game. I'm sure he'll make the recovery in time for the first game. I believe that's 9 days away now. June the 4th. It's currently the 25th, so he's got time. I've loved him, especially in England. I think he's a great number 8, number 9 with the bat. Contributes, got that 100 against the West Indies. And just a nice line and length bowler. I think he lost his way in Australia, as did most of the bowlers. And he just needs that little confidence that, sometimes just having that break, coming back home, it can just settle you. And I think he's got a lot left to offer. So he should be a walk-up for that first game. Sonny Baker, surprise call. He's got all the attributes that England were looking for when they picked Josh Hull years ago out of the blue, except Sonny Baker's played a few more games. I say a few. This year, at least, he's played 5 games. He's got 16 wickets at 27, and he's striking at 44. So every 44 balls, he's getting a wicket. That's a good strike rate in first-class cricket. So he's playing for Hampshire, and I've watched him when they've been playing on some flat decks. He keeps bounding in. He's getting a few balls to rise over the keeper, even in the second innings. He's got that energy. He's got that no quit in him. I think he's going to be, he's got that height. He's got that motor. He's got the potential. He's got the aggressive lengths. Everything that England wants. He just needs, to spend a bit more time developing his own game. We saw when he came into the one-day match against South Africa, the Saffers took him down very quickly. And you can't really afford that in a test match. So I'd be shocked if they picked him, but I understand why he's in and around the squad. Matt Fisher, also a bit of a left field kind of selection. Don't love it. He's playing for Surrey, who isn't playing for Surrey at the moment. 4 matches in this county season. He's got 11 wickets at 42. I know the Oval's very batter friendly, especially in April and May, but yeah, some people you just use the eye test on. He's not my kind of player, but maybe England see something else. Marcus North, Rob Key, they see something else in Matt Fisher. So he did play 1 test against the Windies. Take what you will. I mean, the West Indies is always a hard place to tour. But yeah, still you'd like to see a bit more from him in these returns. He's got the height, he's got the bounce, he's got good seam position, good wrist position. It's just, are you going to bowl with a new ball? Are you first change? Are you going to be able to maintain your pace, maintain your length? Yeah, it's a bit of a question mark again. I'd be shocked if he played. We've got Josh Tongue, amazing, best player, or best bowler at least from the Ashes. He should be a walk-up starter. But again, with some of these English selections, you're never really sure, are you? Shoaib Bashir, not even sure why he's here. He's not a walk-up starter. I don't even know. He changed counties, but still, I'm just so unflattered with what I've seen with him. The big hauls he's got in Test match cricket to come against, like the West Indies and teams that are just you wouldn't have said your top class teams. I mean, I would love to see the West Indies back in full flight, but hey. So yeah, it doesn't offer anything with the bat. Doesn't offer much in the field. Again, not my kind of selection. I think that'd be, if you're making that selection for the future, that's fine. But he's already let you down once with the last Ashes. I'm not sure that's a good use of one of your squad selections. And Ollie Robertson is back in the fold. He has re-emerged out of nowhere. His career looked to be done and dusted for England, and he was over in Sydney playing some grade cricket. Looked like he just kind of relaxed a little, found himself, had some leadership opportunities, and now he's come back with Sussex, opened the bowling, been a leader yet again, and it just seems like England are just willing to take another crack at him. So that's really good. Sorry, I just got to have my coffee there. But no, this season he's 5 matches in. He's got 17 wickets at 21, and he's got 170 odd runs with the bat, averaging around 40. So, again, lengthens that tail if he's concentrating and switched on. We've seen a few times, especially as an Aussie, that last wicket to fall in Tasmania all those years ago where he backed away a metre from his stumps and got bowled, and that was the end of the series. Not the greatest signs, but hopefully he's a bit more switched on these days. He's accurate. He's got great seam position. He bowls really nice lengths. He might be a bit more of your accuracy, boring bowler. And again, England have always gone for these aggressive, quick. So this is a change in their style. But yeah, their big thing is making sure his personality is fine. He doesn't quit and his speed stay up. So that'll be, I think, quite easy to tell within his, day 3, day 4 of the first test how he's going. And then, if he's concentrating with the bat, it becomes very apparent. But yeah, really, from the squad that's changed from Australia, look, really is only going to be Emilio Gay that changes in the batting lineup. So to be, Emilio Gay, Ben Duckett, Jacob Bethel, Joe Root, Harry Brook, Jamie Smith, Ben Stokes. I reckon that's your top 7. I'd be shocked if there's any other changes. Then the bowling lineup, that's where it becomes interesting. I would honestly go Ahmed, just because I love the guy. I want to give him a chance and love seeing some leggies. I'd go Gus, Tongue, and Robinson. So that would round out. So not in that order. Look, Tongue would be last, but that is that's 10 deep batting. So you'd have some cover there, and you'd also have enough bowling with Bethel and Root in case Rian Ahmed can't get his lengths right. But again, do you really trust Bashir? I would have gone a different way, and we'll talk about that in a sec. So that's my first test 11, at least for England. But the changes from the squad from the Ashes: no Zach Crawley, no Ollie Pope, no Jofra Archer, no Will Jacks, Mark Wood, Bryden Cass, or Matthew Potts. So big changes there. Slightly smaller squad this time, but Jofra Archer's in the IPL, and they're saying they're managing his workloads. Heard a lot of back and forth on this. You've got, some of the experts saying he's a centrally contracted player, millions of pounds every year, and he's not even available for your first test. And they've got a good point. He is 31, but if he's centrally contracted, there's a chance they don't even make the finals in the IPL and he's back anyway, and then they can work on his loads. And I don't think he was going to play every test this summer anyway, but it's not a good look and it's not a good start. And I'm sure he would, he might now struggle to get his place potentially, unless they're going to play a 4-seam attack. Because Gus, Tongue, and Robinson all have good test records. So, they're going to have to get obliterated by New Zealand in this first test, I think, for Jofra to come straight back in unless there's an injury. But understandable as well, because the bloke's got to make some money and he's signed a contract. So I respect the fact you're honouring the contract to the IPL. Crawley and Pope both played 64 tests. Crawley's averaging 31. He's got 500s, 11 ducks, and he's caught behind or in the slips 60% of the time. That's a high number. I know you're opening the batting. Ball's moving, nipping around, but that's a lot of time to get out the same way. And just all this potential Shane Warne talked about all those years ago, R.I.P. Warney. He saw the potential. He called Crawley out early, said that guy's going to play for England for a long time. I'm sure Shane Warne would right now be saying, he's got to go. 64 tests is plenty of time to prove yourself. Most people would get quite lucky to get to 6 tests. So, just a lot of undelivered on his promise there, and it gives him a chance to go back. I heard Brody and Joss talking about maybe does he go back and go to Kent and say he doesn't want to open, he wants to bat 4 and 5. Look, he's got the aggressive technique to bat 4 and 5. I think he'd be a great middle order player, but once you're an opener, how do you go with waiting around in the innings? Like, that'd be a huge change for him, and that'd probably take him a couple of years. I say a couple of years, probably going to take him a few games to get used to, but yeah, it's be a massive change of mindset for him. So, Ollie Pope, 64 tests, average of 34.5, 900s, 9 ducks, and his LBW 25% of the time. So he is getting out a lot in the same way as well. Again, he's batting 3, ball's nipping around and moving, but to get out the same way, LBW playing across that front pad is not great. You want to see some improvement, some change. Obviously, if you change one thing, does that open up a new weakness in another area of your game? But yeah, it's just been the classic, just throw it wide, and send one back in. Much like Joe Root, but Joe Root's now found a way. Ollie Pope didn't find a way. So I always thought Ollie Pope was miscast as a number 3. I thought he should have been at number 6 or even taken the gloves. Like, I'm sure we remember that New Zealand series a couple of years ago where I think Jordan Cox got injured. And so Ollie Pope took the gloves, and that's where Jacob Bethel got his chance to bat 3, and Ollie Pope went to 6. And Harry Brook and Pope just went ham that series. So I'd like Pope to go back to middle order for Surrey. I don't think he's a great white ball player, so I think really focusing on the red ball in the middle order, middle to lower part of that middle order is where he belongs, I reckon. Just look at the stats and you'll probably have your idea. Yes, if you look at his career stats, batting at 6 and around there, look, he started his career there. No one starts, well, he certainly didn't start amazingly in those positions against the Saffers. So, some work to do for those two, but their career's not over. Will Jacks, don't know what the fuck happened to him. Like, damn, dude, like, I thought you had one of the best, like, yeah, he didn't have the stats, but he one of the hardest fighting, like, best Ashes that we saw in terms of just not giving up and put a price on his wicket and would fight and took some great hangers. And then, yeah, unless he said that he's not available, which would be weird by him. I don't know why he's not in this squad, especially over Shah Bashir. He's playing for Mumbai Indians in the current IPL. They're not going to make finals, so there's no risk of him not being available for the first test. So it's a very odd one. His Ashes was 4 games, had 145 runs at basically 21, and took 6 wickets at 54. So look, those stats are again pretty horrendous. But the whole Ashes series was horrendous, and he had a real competitive edge to him. So I thought, if anyone's going to make it, it's him, but we were wrong. Mark Wood, only played the 1 game down under, the game that lasted 2 days in Perth, and we never saw him again. His career is at a crossroads. 1 more major injury, he's probably done. And so this rehab is not getting pushed too hard. He's even said it himself. He's like, if I have 1 more injury during this recovery, that could be it. So understand why he's not selected. Bryden Caster's injured, had a right hand injury ahead of the IPL for Sunrisers Hyderabad. Very much in England's plans, but and had a pretty hearty Ashes series as well. Like Will Jacks, very competitive. I don't think he's a new ball bowler. I think he's a first change kind of guy. But yeah, it's good to see that he's injured, he's not playing, but he's in their plans for England in the future. And Matthew Potts, look, he's had a good start to the county season. 6 matches, 24 wickets at 23. Good lines, good lengths, keeping his speed up, decent offerings as a lower order batter. But that Ashes game that he played in Sydney, I know it was a bit batter friendly, but no wickets, went for 141 runs in 25 overs, no control. Just got sent. So our recent viewing of him was, understanding why he got dropped basically. So look, that's a hell of a squad. Really exciting when you got some fresh blood in there, and it'd be really nice to see Emilio Gay get his first crack at it. But yeah, watch England rebuild after a horrendous Ashes series where the only game they won, and this is just me being salty, but was in Melbourne, where their bowlers were brought back into it, and the pitch was, that's the one thing I'll say about Australia is they want to make good cricket, even cricket. But yeah, look, there was no home field advantage there. That was definitely favouring the bowlers that game. So, but they win it. They still won it. Their first Test win in many, many years. So in Australia. The alternates though, I came up with my own little list, and it's your whole potential versus proven kind of argument for alternate squad members. Potential wise, batting at least, you've got Ben McKinney, Asa Tribe, Tawanda Moyeye. Ben Geddes from Middlesex, I like the cut of his jib. He's pretty aggressive. He moved from 5 to open the last few games for Middlesex. Wonder why that was. Maybe because Josh DeCaries did nothing. But they're your kind of unproven, your potential kind of selections. Or do you go the proven? Do you go your Dom Sibleys, your I've lost a couple of names there, but do you go some of those older fellas that, your Sam Hames, your Lewis Deploy, just to see if they've got, your Tom Abels even, just to see if they've proven it at the first class level. Do you give them a crack at the next level? At some point you got to win something, England, so maybe you go with the proven members, win something first before you start just feeding into all potential. Again, that's just me just talking shit, sorry. But look, I if I had to pick on just potential, look, I said love Ben Geddes, love what Ben McKinney offers, big, tall, left-handing opening batsman. Asa Tribe, he's only 22, he's got a lot left. Moyeye from Kent, he's batting 4 at the moment, but we've seen him open in the past. Tom Abel's a hell of a red ball player. Will Smead, look more for your white ball, not so much the red ball. Charlie Allison from Essex looks all the business at the moment. Ben Mays set the under-19 World Cup alight for England. Hasn't done much for Hampshire. Thomas Rue, again, did a lot for under-19s for England. Not so much opportunity yet. Jack Haynes for Nottingham. He's been a very good, consistent player. Not to leading the league. And, he's only 25. And James Wharton from Yorkshire, I think, could also have a future there. All-rounders, Ben Callaway, Liam Patterson-White, James Coles, Finn Hudson-Prentice would be my potential picks. I think Ben Callaway's coming off 100, good little offie. Liam Patterson-White, handy number 8, bowls some left-hand spin. James Cole, he's been batting 4, not making a ton of runs, but bowling good left hand, really good in the field. And Finn Hudson-Prentice is a real smoky, but I like what he offers with the ball. And then with the bowling stocks, potential would be Alfie Ogborn, your Josh Hulls, and again, if you want to go a bit more, say, proven, you've got your Mason Cranes, you've got your Sam Cooks, your Matt Parkinsons. But yeah, I think they've, there's a lot of names there. There's a lot of depth in England cricket. They've just maybe missed the boat a little on a few players by sticking with others too long, such as Crawley, Pope. But again, I think Pope's in the wrong position. I think you could quite easily swap him and Jamie Smith in the order. Have Jamie Smith at 3 and Pope with the gloves at 6, but they've not gone that way. So, we talk about the future. I think Sam Cook's super unlucky as well as Will Jacks to not be in this squad. But there's plenty of names on that list. The New Zealand squad, that's where we'll turn our attention. New Zealand, they come into this not off a lot of cricket. Their last outing, I believe, was against the West Indies, where the West Indies had that great escape, batting for a day and 3/4. Justin Greaves gets 200 not out. Shea Hope gets 140, and they save that just to lose the next few games. Their squad is going to be very much not the same as their last squad. Just pulling it up now, sorry, and classic internet. Here we go. So their squad for the Tour of England is Tom Latham as captain, Tom Blundell as keeper, Devon Conway, Henry Nicholls, Kane Williamson, Zach Folkes, Dean Foxcroft, Darryl Mitchell, Glenn Phillips, Rachin Ravindra, Nathan Smith, Matt Henry, Kyle Jamison, Will O'Rourke, and Blair Tickner. That's a good squad. Their changes is Will Young is out, Henry Nichols is in, Mitch Hay, backup keeper, is out, Dean Foxcroft is in as an all-rounder, Mitch Santner's out, Glenn Phillips is back in, no Michael Bracewell, no Michael Ray, no Christian Clark, and Jacob Duffy is swapped out for Kyle Jamison, who's fit and healthy again. So I like it, solid squad. I think they're missing an opener. I'm not sure you can keep going with Devon Conway. I'm not sure you want to pick Henry Nichols again. They're not my kind of players. Again, what my opinion is doesn't matter to selectors, of course. But yeah, I think they had plenty of opportunity and just not cutting it. So I would honestly want to see Tom Blundell opening again. He opened in Australia many a year ago, and yeah, he did a great job. So I'm slightly biased there. But yeah, I like their squad depth. I like their experience. Like from their top 5 batters, say, Tom Latham, Tom Blundell, Devon Conway, Henry Nichols, and Kane Williamson. All of them are 34 and older, so they've definitely got some experience there. Then they've got some, Daryl Mitchell's also 34, and then they start getting a little bit younger. Matt Henry's 34, Kyle Jamison's 31, Blair Tickner's 32. So it's an older squad, but they still got the young youth in there with Will O'Rourke, Nathan Smith, Ravindra, Dean Foxcroft, and Zach Folkes. So good squad. Got some youth, got some old heads. They should take it right to England. They've been here many a time on a tour to to England. I would say that they have as good a chance now as any over the next 3 tests. So I would imagine their order they're not going to go my way. So I imagine their order looks very much like Tom Latham, Devon Conway, Kane Williamson, Rachin Ravindra, Daryl Mitchell, either Glenn Phillips or Dean Foxcroft, or if they want to lengthen the bowling lineup, then you'd go either Nathan Smith or all 4 quicks. So I'll break down the 11 for you in what I think should be anyway. So you've got you've got your Latham, Conway, Williamson, Ravindra, Mitchell, Phillips. Then I think I would go Blundell, Folkes, Matt Henry, Kyle Jamison, and Will O'Rourke, which would leave Blair Tickner, Nathan Smith, Dean Foxcroft, and Henry Nichols on the bench. So I think that's a hell of a lineup. And again, the experience there is very, very deep. So I like what they've done with their squad. I don't think Michael Ray was going to be great. Christian Clark wasn't going to be, they're going to be, as bowlers in England, you're going to be fine. But Jacob Duffy's an interesting one. He was good, but he's played a lot of cricket recently. Will Young, also a bit of an interesting one to leave out for Henry Nichols. I would have rathered Will Young. But yeah, Mitch Santner, Michael Bracewell, probably not, probably not on this tour. So I understand there. So, yeah, I know Devon Conway debuted in England before, got 200 on debut. Kane Williamson hasn't had the fattest time in England, but if there's ever a time at 35, you've seen it before, man. I'd love Dean Foxcroft in collusion. He's 42 games of first-class experience, averaging 32 with 200s, 63 wickets of off-spin, averaging 30 with the ball. So nothing there that's just knocking the door down, but if he's going to be fighting anyone, it's going to be Glenn Phillips for his place in the team. So it depends if you want a bit more of an aggressive batter and spinner or a bit more stable in Foxcroft. So Phillips has a much better strike rate. Foxcroft is only striking at 55. Phillips is around 70. And yeah, a bit more aggressive with his bowling as well. So yeah, it depends which way New Zealand want to go there. So first game, 4th of June. Then there's a big gap until the second game, which is the 17th, and then the last game is 25th. So, yeah, we're not far away from our first game of the summer for England, which in Australia starts at 6 p.m. if you're in WA. I think it's 9 p.m. on the East Coast, so it's good watching for us for the first session or two, and then after that you've got to catch up in the morning. In other news, Bangladesh, Pakistan, 2-game series played in Bangladesh. And if you said before the series that it was going to be a sweep, I would have agreed. I wouldn't have understood which way the sweep was going. Bangladesh win the series 2-0. first sweep in their history of Pakistan, and it just shows you that Bangladesh is well and truly on the ups, man. They are taking their Test cricket a bit more seriously, and they are, or compared to Pakistan at least, like valuing their wickets, valuing their training, their opportunities. It's awesome to see. So win the first Test by 104 runs. They left Pakistan chasing 268, and Pakistan were bowled out for 163. Hard to tell if they were chasing it or just trying to block it out. It was just a very bad performance when you were watching it. It didn't seem like they had any idea how to chase it down. There's no Babar Azam in the team coming off the PSL, but still, there's enough players there, big name players as well. Rizwan, Imam Al-Haq, Salman Agha, that you could just, Saud Shakil. I don't know. There's enough names, and they just don't live up to it yet again. I know batting fourth in any subcontinent is not easy, but just not enough runs in their first innings is probably more the question. And then the second Test, Bangladesh win by 78 runs. Again, Pakistan did a little bit better in their fourth innings, but still not great. That's a game where Pakistan had Bangladesh in their first innings. I think it was like 5 for 80 or 6 for 90 or something. And Leighton Das is batting with the tail. He's their wicket-keeper batter, and he just farms the strike, finds the gap. He did get a little bit lucky. I think there was a drop catch, a couple through and over slips, but still, he gets a brilliant 120-odd, and then that just rights the ship for Bangladesh in their first innings. They bowl well. Tajul Aslam and Rana, I'm pretty sure, some of these names. But yes, they bowled Pakistan out very well, and then Mushfiqur Rahim came and just finished the job in that second innings to put a total beyond Pakistan. So Bangladesh took their opportunities, and Pakistan just didn't. So the takeaways from the series are Pakistan has all the talent. As much talent as any country. They are just a fragile set of batters, especially. Their bowlers at least put in effort. I wouldn't have said their leadership is any good. Their fields were super poor. Their fielding was super poor. And their batsmen's mindset was super soft. But, they've got the talent there. So I think they need to play a bit more Test cricket, as do Bangladesh. But there's only one way to get better, and it's to play and to be out there. So it showed up that the bowlers for Pakistan, they had the intent. They weren't consistent. They weren't patient enough. The captain wasn't patient enough. The fields changed too often. They spread the field for, say, Leighton Das, and that didn't work early, and yet they stuck with it until he got to about 99. So do with that what you will. I would just, you've got the rest of the batters out with normal fields, and I don't understand when Australia does it. I don't understand when England does it. I don't understand when anyone does it. You've gotten a bunch of batters out cheaply with normal fields, and then you spread the field for the last recognised batsman. How about you just try and get them out? If they get 50-odd runs, cool. Leighton Das just showed you. He just piled on another 115 runs from what he was on when you spread the field. Not great. So, but yeah, there are some other takeaways. Look, the depth in Pakistan may not be great. Saud Shakil, how the hell is he still playing? I don't know. He's got all the talent again, but just, not proving it. So he is one that I don't know. I like Imam Al-Haq. I'm slightly biased, but I would have Imam in over Saud Shakil any day. But, look, that's something for Bangladesh to be hanging their hats on, man. They just came back. Yes, you were in your own backyard, but, for your first ever sweep of Pakistan it's a big day. It's a big series. And they just showed that they were a bit more switched onto those 1%ers, a bit better in the field, hit the right areas more consistently with the ball and with the bat, just didn't give up. And that's what sometimes it comes down to, is just who wants it more. So, great series, great watch, especially when Bangladesh were batting. But yeah, we will let them be on that one, because we, as Australians, play Bangladesh soon. And in my next episode, we will be revealing what I assume the Australian Test squad should be. Will it be? Probably not. But I think it should be when I will announce next time. It's on my Instagram if you want to get ahead of it early. We'll finish on a question. And this is something I've been thinking about for a while. The Fab Four for many years was Coley, Root, Smith and Williamson. And slowly you've seen some of your favourites fade with form or retiring or injuries. And so that Fab Four may change in the next 3 to 5 years. So my question, you guys have your own opinion, send them in. ChatGPT says the next Fab Four in 3 to 5 years will be Yashasvi Jaiswal from India, Shubman Gill from India, Harry Brook from England, and Rachin Ravindra from New Zealand. That's a pretty good list. I can't argue with it. But I will say, if I had to say there's a couple of smokies in there, I'd say Joe Root's probably still playing, just because that dude will probably play to his 45. He could still be in there. Jacob Bethel could be in there. He's got all the promise and talent, and he now will get a consistent run for England. So in 3 to 5 years, who knows, he could be in there. Cam Green, if he ever lives up to his potential as an Aussie, as a West Australian, right there with him all the way. But geez, that last series against England was one where I was like, all right, let's get Big Bo, the Slug Webster, into the team instead of Cameron Green. So if he can't get runs against Bangladesh and this summer, I'm not sure Cameron Green's going to be in the team for a while. So his making of the Fab Four is very much going to be made in the next year or two. Dewald Brevis from South Africa, love his game. Loved it when I watched it in the under-19s a few years ago. Would love to see him just get a bit more exposure to Test cricket as well. But South Africa don't play a lot of Test cricket, so whether he can make the Fab Four or not, it probably just depends more on games, honestly. And then I call it a smoky just because of his age. He's not that old, but Travis Head, the moustache goat from South Australia. What's not to say? How is he not already in the Fab Four? I mean, Virat's retired. I'd say Travis Head moves straight into Virat's spot. So the current Fab Four would be Head, Root, Smith and Williamson. But he could still be there in 3 to 5 years, just taking down attacks, bowling his little off spins and resting that finger in ice. And I reckon he could be another smoky. But I think the chat's kind of got it right. Jaiswal, Gill, Brook and Ravindra would be leading the way, followed by Bethel, Green, Brevis and Travis Head. But hey, let me know, send an email, put it on the Instagram, whatever you want to do. Let's get a conversation started because there's a lot to talk about here, a lot of cricket coming up. And that's our first cricket podcast done, so thanks for being part of it. We will catch you next time to reveal the Australian potential squad for Bangladesh. Until next time.